Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the President and CEO of the Chamber, Craig Whitney.
Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year. Thank you for joining us at today's State of the Cities. This annual event offers our members and the community the distinct opportunity to hear from the mayors of Fargo, Moorhead, West Fargo, and Dilworth, and learn about the issues that are affecting our metro communities. It's an exciting time to live in our metro. Our community is thriving, and the surrounding towns that make up our region are experiencing great growth, like the city of Horace, just to name one. Every day, the Chamber strives to be a leader in ensuring the growth and prosperity of the business community, and our members through advocacy, education, and engagement. As we think about the goals and priorities of our cities, the Chamber's Public Policy Committee and Board of Directors have adopted their 2019 public policy priorities. A quick reference card has been placed at your table, and you can download the entire guide by going to the Chamber's website, fmwfchamber.com. Representatives of the Chamber and the business community attended the Minnesota Chamber's 2019 session priorities, Seizing Opportunities to Grow event yesterday, as we prepare for monitoring the very important issues that will arise during this legislative session that started earlier this week. We are also preparing for our 2019 North Dakota Chamber Day at the Capitol. I encourage you to join us for this event on February 6th, where we visit North Dakota's capital for the day. It's a great opportunity to observe the legislative process up close. As a chamber group, we will meet with various elected officials and be able to share what is important to us. We'll sit in on the sessions and the close of the day with a reception for our legislators. Last year, we filled 2 buses and had several carpoolers caravan to Bismarck, with over 100 chamber members representing our region. To find more information and register, just visit our website. Our region continues to change in every dramatic way. Just as business knows no geographical boundaries, this chamber represents the broader metropolitan region. This event demonstrates the Chamber's belief that all of our cities, working together as a metro, a region, will allow us to grow even stronger and continue to strengthen our region's economy. The ability to fulfill our mission revolves around all of you, our valued members. We greatly value your input and continually enhance our events and programs to best serve you. The format of this event will allow ample opportunities to be heard. You will have the opportunity to participate in live polls later in the program. Please take a look at the instructions on your table so you will be ready to provide your input. And don't hesitate to submit a question for the mayors to answer by emailing them to events@fmchamber.com. So let's get started. Please welcome to the stage Mark Nesbitt, North Dakota Principal Manager with Xcel Energy, our presenting sponsor for today's State of the Cities. Mark also serves as Chair of the Chamber Board.
Well, thank you, Craig, and it's a great honor to be the chair of the Chamber Board and to work with the staff at the Chamber. Does a great job, as you can see by a full house here today. We're going to have Women Connect coming up later this month. That's in essence sold out. Had to move it to the shack to hold the crowd. But first, let me tell you a few words about Xcel Energy. We're an integrated gas and electric utility providing clean, safe, reliable energy to 3.6 million electric customers and 2 million natural gas customers across 8 western and midwestern states. We have a balanced energy generation mix that includes natural gas, coal, nuclear, and renewables. In fact, we are the nation's #1 utility wind energy provider with more than 8,000 megawatts on our system. We're also heavily invested in our communities and helping power the economies of the states that we serve. In North Dakota, we are the state's largest utility providing clean, safe, reliable energy to more than 95,000 electric customers, 57,000 natural gas customers, and just over the last 5 years, we've invested more than $1 billion in infrastructure in the state to help the state grow and prosper. So we've expanded our high voltage power grid. In fact, we want to thank NDSU and the city of Fargo. We're on a project right now where their help played a great role in making sure we have more flexibility in serving this growing community. And we built wind farms in the state that bring great economic benefit to serve our customers with low cost power. So we started construction on our newest project, Foxtail Wind, last July, which will bring our owned wind in the state to 500 megawatts. So, and again, this type of solid, long-term commitment wouldn't be possible without the great employees our company has. We have a couple of tables of employees here, so if you guys would raise your hands, and I'd like a round of applause for the people that keep the lights on. And I would say Craig and the Chamber are very gracious about providing those commercials when somebody sponsors. So think about being a sponsor and supporting the entire community. So great time to be a part of this community. The Chamber is proud to represent so many incredible businesses and employees who are working together to improve our metro. Some of those businesses include the community builders, the Chamber's most exclusive level of membership. You're seeing them on the screen now as we're looking through. These organizations help the Chamber achieve its mission of enhancing the business climate in our region by going above and beyond their annual dues investment. We are honored to call 54 businesses community builders, which you will see listed on the screens. We recognize the importance of their investment in our Chamber and the community. And let's have a round of applause for those community builders. And again, as I mentioned, we're very proud to be the presenting sponsor today. The opportunity to sit with the 4 mayors, hear what's going on in their communities, input from the audience. I think this is truly one of the premier events. And so we have some executive sponsors today as well. Essentia Health, Gateway Chevrolet Cadillac, KLJ, McGough Construction, Moore Engineering, North Dakota State College of Science, Sanford Health, and the event production sponsor, and more and more as we work with media productions, it's very obvious they do a great job with those productions. And also today, it's pretty clear that the whole community supports us. We have 44 generous corporate table sponsors that are being shown on the screens, and we thank you for your support of this important event. So let's have a round of applause for all of these sponsors. So I know many of you, as I do, look forward to this event every year. I'm excited that my co-host is Jay Thomas. Jay is of course the afternoon show at WDAY, and that show puts Jay in contact with many of the citizens from across these 4 communities. So Jay seemed like a natural choice for this. So Jay, if you would join me on stage. And I'm not sure everybody knows this, but this is a pretty special occasion when Jay Thomas puts on a tie. So
You know,
he's
we don't need to be going down that road. And I'm not gonna lie to you. It's one thing to sit in the studio and talk to a bunch of people and look at a wall. I'm telling you right now, I hope I'm not pitting out. I'm nervous. I mean, I'm really nervous. And please, if you're taking pictures, do not put a picture on social media of me dressed like this, because I will not hear the end of it from the wife. She will expect this every day from me. I'm a guy that likes blue jeans and ratty old t-shirts. As a matter of fact, that's one of the things that the wife and I argue about. It comes up as a topic once in a while about my ratty clothing choices. So I'm really honored to be chosen to come up and be part of this chamber event. I've been a part of the community now for over 20 years. I'm a West Fargo resident. I like to refer to my part of West Fargo as Old Town West Fargo, and I know that upsets some people in West Fargo, but I love it out there. I love being part of the community and being part of this event. And thank you, Mark, for being let me be part of this, and thank you, Craig Whitney. I'm excited to be here today and hosting this exciting discussion about our communities with our mayors, and I got to sit and talk to the mayors, and sometimes I don't agree with some of the ideas they have, but at the end of the day, let's give them a round of applause, because these men that are running these communities, and at one time we were allowed to say woman, and I know Delray did a fantastic job. We're all going to miss her. We have a new mayor in Moorhead. Jonathan, you're going to do a fantastic job. We also have a new mayor, Bernie Dardis in West Fargo, and Bernie and I have had the opportunity to sit down and talk many times, and this man's got a vision for West Fargo. And West Fargo is going to grow even faster. But let's give our mayors a round of applause for what they do for our communities. All right, I ad-libbed enough. All right. I want to point out that this year we've decided, well, not we, so if you're upset, I had no say in this. This was the chamber. They've decided to no longer allow videos as part of the presentations, but each mayor was allowed to provide a PowerPoint. They will each have 10 minutes to share their address. And mayors, and once again, I get tossed in this. This is not me. Mayors, they are prepared to turn off your mics if you go too long. Let's start on the eastern edge of our community and work west. I'm going to hang out with this gentleman this afternoon. I'll be doing my show from the beautiful new TAC music venue in Dilworth. Dilworth, another community that is growing fast. Dilworth Mayor Chad Olson, always a crowd favorite. I know I had fun with him at the table. Please join us on the stage and give Chad a round of applause.
I'm waiting for my timer. All right, here we go. Good morning. Love the new format, and as you know, I've consistently foregone the videos, and I figure we saved a few $1,000s by not hiring Scorsese to do our video this year. So as we move on, again, this is such a fantastic event. The Chamber does a wonderful job, and it is. This is the premier event for the city of Dilworth and our metro neighbors to highlight what we've accomplished throughout the past year. I want to thank the Chamber. I want to thank the Holiday Inn and everybody working behind the scenes to make this a tremendous event, and especially to Katie this morning for wrangling the mayors. She did a phenomenal job of getting me to this podium because I was going over there. So again, thanks to everyone who makes this possible. January 2018, actually I completed my first year in my third term as the mayor at Dilworth. And looking back, remembering the campaign as I was walking and knocking on every door in Dilworth, and as I've gotten older and the city's gotten larger, it's not quite as easy as it used to be. But I was often asked, what motivates you to run, and why do you want to be the mayor of Dilworth? And it's honestly, it's a very simple response. I have a tremendous amount of pride in the community in the city of Dilworth, and never more so was I proud of our city than I was of January last year. So last year, Governor Dayton had declared a state of emergency throughout our region due to the dangerous cold and prolonged temperatures that our weather had created. Now, that in and of itself is not surprising. But during that time, the Churches United homeless shelter was in desperate need of space due to the high demand for shelter to maintain the health and welfare of the people in the greatest need. Now, the city of Dilworth worked tirelessly with Churches United. We rescheduled events. We made arrangements. We contacted local nonprofit organizations, churches, and what we were able to do was form a partnership that allowed the health and welfare of the people in the greatest need to be protected at this dangerous time. Now, this is significant not only for the city of Dilworth, but for all of our communities. Right, this was a success for Churches United. This was a success for the city of Dilworth, but more importantly, this was a success for the greater Fargo-Moorhead area. And when I think about that, it's easy and an honor to be the mayor of a city that is willing to go through these extreme efforts. So to me, it's simple, and to me, it's an excellent motivator. And in 2018, we did make significant progress by adding new businesses. We expanded and added new residential developments. We improved our financial security and the services that we're providing to our city. Now, as has been tradition, I use the State of the City's address to recognize our Star Business of the Year. And this year we chose Aldi. And we chose Aldi for many reasons, but none more important than the fact that they embody the idea of when one city succeeds, all cities succeed. And because of their investment in the city of Dilworth, and because of their subsequent success, we're seeing that Aldi is opening up new locations in the FM area this spring. So those were the reasons we chose Aldi to be the city of Dilworth's 2018 Star Business of the Year. Building on that success on our 34th Street corridor, it has also led to the construction of a new commercial area on our eastern border. Dilworth Commons completed their construction late in 2018. They currently have plans for a new restaurant. There's a memory care facility under construction, and the potential for new amenities in the city of Dilworth on the horizon has great potential. These new amenities, they're the perfect complement to our continued residential growth. Now, in 2018, the city of Dilworth witnessed construction of new homes on 80% of our available lots. Pause for effect. Okay. Now granted, that's 8 of the 10 that we had available, but 80% is a good number. Okay. So, right? Math is beautiful. You can make it do whatever you want. At the beginning of 2018, we had a need. Now, by the end of 2018, we were fortunate to have 2 new major residential expansions, counting for about 120 new homes with immediate potential to add another 75 to 100. So with this, we were able to put in the infrastructure late, but we were able to see immediate housing. I mean, the streets went in, and no sooner had the asphalt cured than the homes were going in. And if you want to see a happy new homeowner, extend the street 5 additional feet, so when they back out of their driveway, they don't back into a cornfield. It was awesome. So things happened in rapid motion late in 2018 is really fantastic. New homes are fantastic. We all like to see that growth. But another very proud moment in 2018 is the city of Dilworth welcomed its first Habitat home in about 20 years. So I was very happy to work with Habitat for Humanity. And again, a complete community effort. City staff made sure that we followed the rules in acquiring the property. Our fire department burned it down. You want to see some happy guys, let me tell you. And then our maintenance crew came in, removed the debris, prepped the land for construction, and then an overwhelming amount of community support. Our local businesses, churches, nonprofits came in, but so did the metro areas, right? We had support from all over the greater Fargo-Moorhead area, and again, making sure that when the city of Dilworth looks at housing, we take this whole city approach. We want to make sure we're providing the array of housing options and using infill whenever we can. So this was a tremendous success. The successful of these developments, commercial, residential, I mean, they bring immediate impacts. The new amenities, the new residents. We have new employment opportunities. And when you come to Dilworth, you can see this. I mean, it's tangible. But what is less visible, although equally important, is the planning and cooperation that is essential to making all of this progress work. Quickly, some other highlights from the city of Dilworth, and you can see the cooperation. We've built great relationships with the city of Moorhead. We collaborate on services ranging from road maintenance to prosecution services and utilities. And I look forward to working with Mayor Judd in that same capacity and continuing to build that bridge between our two cities. We updated our city's comprehensive plan in conjunction with MetroCog. As we're building to grow, we want to make sure we're growing in a pragmatic manner. And I was fortunate enough to visit with Mayor Dardis, who shared with me West Fargo's comprehensive plan. And they've got some fantastic ideas, and I will not lie, I plan on trying to steal some. So, again, working through. And we've always had a fantastic relationship. I believe Mayor Mahoney and I are now the veteran statesmen up here, and it's fantastic to work with Fargo. We established an ad hoc committee. We had an issue with where we go with our recycling. We surveyed about our residents' recycling habits, gathered the data, and just last week, we sent out requests for proposals to begin the much-needed and long overdue service of curbside recycling in the city of Dilworth, and that was a great step forward for our city services. Everything costs money. You ever notice that? Right? So 2018 was busy, but during this entire process, we implemented strategies to ensure that we're able to hire and maintain quality employees. During our budgeting process, we wanted to make sure that we're planning to add staff to ensure the high level of services that our residents have come to expect. Now, doing this while being financially responsible, the city of Dilworth, during the busy 2018 season, we earned a AA- rating from Standard & Poor's. Now, that's a huge success for the city of Dilworth. That gives us some financial security. And what I learned from that is, as each one of our cities goes through the auditing process, the financial stability, the financial well-being of your neighboring cities comes into play when developing your own rating, the ratings from each city. So that success for Dilworth was also a success for our neighbors. 2018 was a fantastic year for Dilworth. A successful year for Dilworth. And as we look back for a few minutes today, I believe it's important that we reiterate the notion that the success of the city of Dilworth contributes to the overall success of the FM area. And as we focus our attention in 2019, there's no doubt in my mind that 2019 will be just as successful for the city of Dilworth as 2018. I want to thank you again for allowing me to be a part of this event. It's a pleasure to be here and a distinct honor to represent the fantastic city of Dilworth. Thank you.
Yes, very nice job. Well, thank you, Mayor Olson. And going back to Xcel Energy, we provide either gas and electricity or both to all four of these communities. And I would agree that it was a great year in Dilworth, and that contributed to our great year. So I'm hoping to hear of more success stories as we move through the lineup. At this point, it's my pleasure to introduce the newest mayor. Mayor Jonathan Judd was elected mayor of Moorhead just last November and took office January 7th, 2019. He is a practicing attorney and an adjunct instructor at Minnesota State University Moorhead. He attended NDSU and UND School of Law. Welcome, Mayor Judd.
Besides being the new mayor, I also happen to be the shortest mayor, so I'm going to have to adjust this accordingly. I want to echo the sentiments of Mayor Olson. A big thank you to Mr. Whitney and the Chamber for inviting us all here to share our stories here this morning. I was talking to my son Monroe last night. He's 8 years old. And he's sitting there, he's like, "So what's going on tomorrow, Dad?" I'm like, "Well, I get to speak." "How many people?" "About 600. He's like, "Okay, Dad, well, have fun and don't screw up." So my intent this morning is to get through that and follow his recommendation. So clicker right here. All right, I'm still the newbie, so give me a shot here. So 2018 was a great year in the city of Moorhead. We have excellent, excellent things going on. And a lot of that's going to be attributed to our fine team. And when I look at team, when I say team, we'll look at the whole community. Our residents, our city leadership, city manager Chris Volkers, Derek LaPointe, Dan Molly have done a very good job in promoting what's going on in downtown. But also, I think we also need to also take a look at the fact that not just downtown, but we are experiencing growth in all facets in our city. So I'm going to walk through this PowerPoint and just say, above and beyond, Moorhead is growing. And when I go through this PowerPoint, I want to also look at a theme. They always tell trial attorneys when you go in and talk to a jury to have a theme, what you want to focus on. So I wanted to borrow a quote from one of my favorite statespeople, Winston Churchill. And the quote is, if I don't butcher it, "We shape our buildings, and afterwards our buildings shape us." I would ask you to consider, as you look through this PowerPoint and listen to what I have to say, substitute the term buildings for cities. And I think every mayor, every council can attest that when we make decisions, when we look at the greater good of our community, developers included, our residents, we're looking at the things that we can do that shape our city, that shapes ourselves. The population of Moorhead is 43,000. We've had 329 new, again, me being short here, I'm going to glance over here. 329 new housing units, 134 of those single family, 195 multifamily. That leads to people asking me, and I get this question quite a bit, why did you decide to live in Moorhead? I'm a 1991 Fargo North graduate, so my roots are Fargo North. It is the people in that community that I have to give thanks and gratitude for me standing before you today. And moving to Moorhead, my wife and I were looking for that community that would inspire us to be able to grow as a family. And looking at, we can go to the next slide, please. These people who decided to increase our population growth by choosing to live in our community, we're hoping that it's those individuals that feel the same way and that theory and that theme resonates with them as well. When I also go through this and looking at how our city shapes us, we're looking at, and we're going to be looking at as a city, what's our identity? And these are community conversations that will be taking place throughout our year this year. The Cullen Hockey Center is a part of Moorhead's DNA. Why? We're a city of hockey. We're also a city of sports. We're a city of culture. We're a city of arts, music. But as a part of what's in our identity and our DNA, this hockey center, the Cullen Hockey Center, has been a very big asset. Why? It benefits us, as Mayor Olson stated, because when we have events, sports-related events, Squirt International, we all benefit from that. That brings a really big boost economically to our communities, not only Minnesota, but in North Dakota. The downtown momentum. Again, I have to give a big shout out to Chris Volkers, Derek LaPointe, Dan Molly, and the city staff, because our momentum, we're cruising right along. And in 2019, we hope to keep that momentum growing. Block E, fascinating. And there's more to come. We're looking at developing not only our Main Avenue corridor, but our Center Avenue corridor. And there's going to be changes taking place along Center Avenue and our First Avenue. No Mo, as in North Moorhead. Get used to that term. It's coming. Oh, went back, my bad. We're making strides in service and sustainability. This is very important because, again, our community expects us to provide quality service as in any city, but also to be sustainable. The new Law Enforcement Center, a great joint venture between Clay County and City of Moorhead, is up and running. We're still working on our Juvenile Detention Center. Kudos to our Clay County Commissioners and our City Council leadership to address this concern because our jail is aging. And also, the fact of the matter is we have mental health issues in our community. So our Law Enforcement Center gives resources for those that are unfortunately, got themselves in some situations to be able to address that at the forefront. The Green Step 2, we are here right now. We have achieved the Green Step 2. There's more information on the website that talks about this. But in essence, in order for the city to achieve the Green Step 3 in 2019, the focus is going to be on 4 to 8 high-impact sustainability points that we're going to address in order to move up. Recycling and how to also make that more efficient. We're going to be working towards being a better sustainability community. I wanted to have the Comstock Commons here, which is a new project that's going to be taking place on 8th Street in Moorhead regarding our economic development. With our economic development piece, again, we're looking at identity, DNA. In going through the campaign trail, people are really passionate about their communities, whether you live in Oakport or Tessa. People are very passionate about their local neighborhoods. This is a great, great venture because the developer and the community met, talked, because the communities or the residents are worried about changing. And I think that's going to be a conversation we all are going to have throughout our region. As we change, what does that look like? What is the future? How do we adapt? How do we keep our community close? This is beautiful because the residents and the developers came together, and this is the product, and this is beautiful. The community is going to evolve, but the nature and the identity stays the same. We're always under construction. I think we all can relate. I've been driving through your city, Mayor Dardis, on 13th, and also Mayor Mahoney. We're always going to be under construction, but that's a good thing. Turn your challenges into opportunities, right? And before I go on, because I clicked too fast, and this goes along right with it, the 2021 underpass. Big, huge deal for our city. To be able to make sure that our residents and also our first responders are able to access and provide that service and sustainability throughout the whole city. Again, Center Avenue development. As you can see, a warehouse, Simon Warehouse, we're undergoing construction there. We're always evolving and changing. And again, we're looking at the development of our broad base of downtown. And the goal is to be, which is in our DNA, the identity that we're going to be the cultural center. We want Moorhead to be on the map for being the place to be when it comes to culture. Looking at our future. We're excited for 2019. And again, it goes back to why are we here? Why do we do the things that we do? We all have our self-interests. We all have our business interests. We all have our community interests. But that's why we do it. That's our future. And as we look forward to realizing that future, as we look forward to realizing our goals and our vision as a community, as our cities and within our region, we need to be able to look holistically. How do we preserve our neighborhoods? How do we adapt to the changing dynamic in our economics? A lot of that's going to be a self-examination in our community about who we are and who do we want to become. I'm about 30 seconds over, which is good for a long-winded Southerner. But I want to thank each and every one of you. I'd like to again thank the chamber, the sponsors, my city staff, our team, and also the residents of Moorhead. I'm really proud to be your mayor, and I hope you do a very good job and represent you very well. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mayor Judd. Moorhead, I think you made a great decision. You're in good hands. Give him another round of applause. He really sees a future for Moorhead. Audience, remember, if you have any questions for any of our mayors, please email them to events@fmwfchamber.com. I was checking my phone during one of the speeches, and you don't want these questions left up to me, trust me. So if you got a question, email them in, and we'll get to them. Now moving into Fargo, Dr. Tim Mahoney, elected mayor of Fargo in a special election held back in April of 2015. He was first elected to the Fargo City Commission in October 2005. In addition to his job as mayor, Dr. Mahoney also works as a surgeon at Internal Medicine Associates in Fargo and Lake Region Healthcare in Fergus Falls. And you know, God forbid we get another one, a flood season comes around, we feel good when we see Mayor Mahoney in that vest. We know we're going to be okay. Let's welcome him to the stage and to the State of the Cities, Dr. Mayor Tim Mahoney.
Mayor Judd, now we get the tall guys up here, so. Well, good morning. Thank you to everybody who's made this possible, but Craig has to be on a short time frame, so I'm going to have to talk fast. First of all, a lot of things have been going on in our community, and I had the pleasure, as being mayor, be invited by the U.S. Navy SEALs to do a tandem jump. I think it's coming up. Now, the city looks totally different. Coming up sometime. When you jump out of a perfectly safe airplane at 14,000 feet. And, Craig, I don't get charged for this, do I? Okay. I had a great view of the city of Fargo from this vantage point, but I pretty much realized that I'd better stick with my job as mayor. You don't look too good doing 100 miles an hour, and I really didn't look like Tom Cruise. This year we've had some good stuff go on. We got the Fargo City Hall done. It's a 150,000 square foot facility. It houses 215 employees on site. It's flood proof. It opened in September of 2018. It's innovative, efficient, future focused, and truly a game changer for our city. But that's not all we've done. Fargo Water Treatment Plant. The citizens of this community voted a tax in 2006 that worked on our utilities. And with that tax, we did a long-term plan for what we would do with our water. So we had a $110 million construction project. It's taken 3.5 years to finish, and it treats the Metro water. Had we not been forethought in what we were going to do, we wouldn't have been able to add on West Fargo for our water at this time. So we've increased our capacity from 30 to 45 million gallons a day. That's fantastic. Other thing that happened is Chief Todd came up to me and said, I need some new police headquarters, and we had an operation or a realty area that we could go into. There's an existing building that we could repurpose. And we saved money and are efficient. The facility is near a central garage. It allows for yearly maintenance and more efficient work with our cars. All the cars are indoors, so our policemen do not have to hop in a cold car, and their computers stay nice and warm and are ready to go the minute they get in their cars. We have a total of 212 employees working at this facility, and our final move will be this year to move them all into that facility. The other thing we have that none of the other cities have is the Bison. 7-time national champion. Now, the Frisco mayor told me to keep coming back because you're worth $9 million to our community. We're going to get into flood protection because in flood protection, we all worry about when are we going to have this thing come forward. And I want to express gratitude to Mayor Moorhead, Delray Williams, for her help on this project. But we've got a DNR permit. Fantastic. The task force was formed by the governors Bergman, Dayton, and we had members upstream, downstream to be on this. The Minnesota DNRs worked with us on this as well, and as well as the citizens Fargo and Cass County for a sales tax vote that the chamber helped us out with. Where else would you have a community vote for a 50-year tax? Unbelievable. People I want to help now is we need to work with our legislator and Doug Burgum to get money funding that we need for this project. If you delay a project at any time, what will happen? The cost will go up. Just in the delay of the 2 years, the cost went up $150 million. What we have argued with the Corps is let's build this in 6.5 years, and you have tremendous cost savings in that. We have a new cost share with them. I think we have that up here. And it's going to be $300 for $300 million from the state legislator, $300 million from the state or the federal partners, and $86 million from the Minnesota side. If everybody puts in, we'll have this fully funded. We will not have to do any tax assessments. Now, the other thing that's happened within the community, we've done 20 miles of flood protection since 2009. We're not fully safe without the diversion. We still have to do 100 million sandbags if we got into a flood at this time, and we still have 20 miles of areas that we would have to do something to protect our city. With the diversion, the thing people keep quietly forgetting is we have flood insurance. We have $50 to $60 million worth of flood insurance in this community, and the diversion is the only thing that will get rid of that. Now, responding to growth. When we all talk about growth and what's happening, we're on the radar. People around the country are watching the city of Fargo and this community as well. In 2017, Bloomberg identified Fargo as a diversified engine of regional growth. Also, we are denoted as the fastest growing Midwest community from 2010 to 2017. I'd like you to think about that for a moment. In this metro area, we have 235,000 people. We are projected to go up to 330,000 people in the next 20 years. That means 5,000 people every year are going to move into this community. In order to do that, we have to continue to do things that make things go well within our economics. I'd like to get into the building permits. So we've issued $4.4 billion in construction permits in the last 10 years. And you can see on the slide, there's a spike, and that's when Sanford built their building. But we used to run around 200 million permits a year. We are now going to go about $500 million a year in construction permits. Thanks for Block 9, we pushed over 500 this year. Second thing that's happened in this community, social services. We did organize the Mayor's Blue Ribbon Panel on addiction. All the mayors helped out in this. We're proud to announce that we have a 50% decrease in prescription for opioids. Our two largest medical providers, Essentia and Sanford, have worked very hard to have people quit writing so much for opioids. We decreased our deaths in opioids as well, and we have about 15 different initiatives that we've done because of this. Commissioner John Strand went out to the National League of Cities this year and talked about our social efforts. One of the things we changed is mobile outreach program. So if somebody's having a problem and needs to ride to a detox center, is having difficulties with their life, having some issues, we send out this mobile group to give them assistance. What that helps us is decrease the amount of police, fire, and EMS that we have to send out, and allows them to go out to other areas and do that. And Commissioner Strand did a great job in this presentation. Telling our story. This is a question about where are we going to go, and the two other mayors have already talked about that. We've heard of successes in Fort Collins. And thanks to the Bison, we've seen the phenomenal growth in Frisco. But you know what? When we combine the efforts of Fargo, West Fargo, Moorhead, Dilworth, the people, the businesses, and the civic organizations, we can achieve even greater things than what is happening in Frisco or Fort Collins. I think we need to think as a metro, compete as a metro, not with each other. We are in constant competition with these types of cities, and we need to think big. We will all win if we all win. And now, here are some things I think we can, should work together on. We have some buildings for sale. Mid-America Steel, downtown police station, former public health building. We have parking lots downtown that could be developed. West Fargo, Dilworth, and Moorhead also have sites that people would love to have you look at. Let's look at different ways that we can develop and grow this community. Second, I'd like to look at performing arts. We can have something as nice as the Washington Pavilion in Sioux Falls, but we need to do this. This is the area of North Dakota's entertainment capital. We need to continue offering and expanding opportunities for the culture of the metro. Arts, culture, and entertainment all contribute to people choosing to live here, and we're competing against national competitors. The Performing Arts Committee is working on the study options for this design, funding, and operation of this facility. And I know, Mayor Judd, you say you want it in Moorhead, but let's figure that out. We view this as a private-public partnership, and we need to figure this one out, and this is the goal of our team this year. The Fargo Dome. The Fargo Dome proposed an expansion that includes 50,000 square feet of convention space. We do believe there's a need for convention space in this community, and I believe it belongs at the Fargo Dome. If you combine that with the shack and the 50,000 feet, we can have a variety of different people come in our community and do their conventions. The Dome is publicly owned, and we want to bolster its trajectory and not offer a competing facility. The other issue you have to remember, the Fargo Dome, part of the reason we're in the black is every time we go for a championship. So that really is a nebulous thing, although many of us believe the Bison will be there every year, but we still need to have a different way out on that stuff. The other area that's going on in the community is the City Plaza and Downtown Focus. We just completed a downtown study of what's going to happen in the community. And with the City Hall complete, we want to focus on the City Plaza. That should be one of the front yard experiences downtown. It's programmed to encourage visitors throughout the region. Other area we need to talk about is Red River Valley water supply. We think that if we ever had a drought, it'd be a $25 billion catastrophe for us. So we're going to continue to work on that. I got to get to the end here now. Inspiring our future. We need to work to offer internships in every sector of anybody over 16 years of age. And we need more females in the STEM fields. Zoe Bundy did a presentation at Economic Development, and she got a standing ovation. This young teenagers talked in front of us and talked about let's get young women into the science areas. And we also need to retain the youth of this community. We have the Million Cups, we have TEDx. We need to have a community that's capable of keeping them. At NDSU, 79% of the North Dakota graduates stay here if they remain after college, but only 38% of the out-time graduates stay in this community. We're competing with Minneapolis, Chicago, Denver. Ladies and gentlemen, we're educating them, we're fostering their growth. Let's redouble our efforts to keep them here. We also support Chamber's Fueling Our Future initiative and believe the proposed Workforce Academy belongs in this metro. Now, incentives work, and I'll just go through that just to tell you how the economic growth has been within the city. Through our TIF efforts, we have seen a value of $360 million increased property value in our TIF districts, from $10 million to $374 million. We've also seen the collective property value of downtown Fargo increase by $450 million, and with Block 9, that'll go up another $100 million. Without these efforts, Fargo homeowners would be seeing a 4% increase in their property taxes to offset the growth of the city. So they do work on the rising tide throughout the community. So my last point, Greg, I'm getting there. I'm issuing a challenge today to each of my fellow members, fellow mayors, as well as every member in this audience. Let's harness the energy that we have become the EEME epicenter. That is education, entertainment, medical, and the economic epicenter of the upper Midwest. We, Fargo, Moorhead, West Fargo, and Dilworth, are America's next great metro. We have the diversity, the creativity, and the economic growth. I'm excited to work with Chad and equally excited to welcome Bernie and Jonathan as this team of mayors. We, this team, partnered with each and every one of you, are going to get this done. You know what? We do great things together, but together we can do far more. Thank you.
Mayor Mahoney, thank you for sharing your visionary approach to Fargo and the whole metro area. Certainly your take on the collaboration in the metro mirrors very closely what we're hoping for at the Chamber. I was going to introduce the next new mayor as my close personal friend, but as I watched Bernie Dardis work the room, I imagine everybody in here would have that same feeling that Bernie is a close personal friend. But And Bernie is a longtime West Fargo businessman, retired now, but he served on the Chamber Board of Directors here with us for 7 years, a term as the chairman, a legacy leader, the highest award our chamber presents. He has also played a big role out in Bismarck on the statewide chamber and did a lot of work for the chamber in front of those legislators, and his experience will continue to benefit this metro area. And at this time, please help me welcome West Fargo Mayor Bernie Dardis.
Good morning. You have to forgive me, Mark. There's a lot of good friends here today, so it's wonderful to be here. Mayor Mahoney, Mayor Judd, Mayor Olson, it's an absolute honor and privilege to share the stage with you today. This is very new to me, obviously a first-term mayor, but I'm excited about it. Before I start, I wanted to acknowledge some of the staff that we have here from West Fargo that keep me out of trouble and do such a marvelous job. They're back over in the corner there. How about a wave? Commissioner Thorstad this morning had a decision to make whether or not to keep his dentist appointment or come and listen to the mayor of West Fargo speak, and he chose the most painful of the two, and he's come here to listen to me today rather than but he has asked me to help him pay for the cancellation fee of his and also Commissioner Mark Simmons is with us today, a long time serves our community, so glad to have you with us. I couldn't be more proud to represent the city of West Fargo. It was recently named the 10th best city in America to live in that has a population greater than 40,000 and less than 100,000. The population of West Fargo has increased by more than 106% in the last 20 years. And before I go on, I want to acknowledge the prior administrations, the prior commissioners, for their bold steps that they've made. And I would be remiss if I did not thank Mayor Rich Mattern for the years of service of 20 years on our city commission. So thank you, Rich, for all that you've done. The current population of West Fargo is 37,730. And it's projected to reach over 42,190 by 2040. And quite honestly, ladies and gentlemen, I do not believe it will take till 2040 for the growth that we've been experiencing. I think that that will be on a fast track. Our median household income for our residents as of 2017 is $73,402. That's 40% higher than Fargo, sorry, Mayor. 26% higher than the metro region, Jonathan, I'm sorry, and 40% higher than all of North Dakota. A psychographic study of West Fargo informs us that the city is a highly family-oriented community with some of the top-tier psychographic categories for families in wealth, education attainment, jobs, and disposable income. The city of West Fargo continues to lead the metro area in terms of growth. Although our housing growth rate continues to outpace pre-2012 levels, we are seeing it level out. The city's new comprehensive plan also sets goals to provide increased affordable housing and opportunities through investing in older neighborhoods. Jay, you refer to it as Old Town. I refer to it as the core of our city. Increasing mixed-use buildings, improving neighborhood designs, and allowing reduced unit sizes, to name a few. To meet these goals, the city worked with 3 developers in 2018 to increase the city's stock of affordable housing. In 2018, the Cass County Housing Authority announced plans to replace 60 current public housing units with a new apartment building that will house a total of 85 units. Construction began at Harper Heights, a new 11,000 square foot senior apartment building that is in downtown. The city also worked with Lutheran Church of the Cross, the YWCA, and developers to support the Grace Gardens project, which follows the Housing First Homeless Prevention model. The model seeks to get those who are homeless out of crisis. A Habitat for Humanity house was constructed also in West Fargo, Chad, during 2018. We are excited to announce that nationally, West Fargo has been chosen as the site for the Habitat Blitz Build in 2019, which will result in 3 new homes being built in 10 days in one neighborhood in West Fargo. The West Fargo Public School District has seen rapid growth as well in recent years. It is the fastest growing school district in the state of North Dakota, despite the oil patch and all of that development. With the addition of roughly 500 students per year, the district has worked to construct new facilities and renovate older buildings in recent years. In 2018, they opened Willow Park Elementary School. By the way, we open an elementary school every year. And the third school it's the third school built in the city of Fargo that is in the West Fargo School District. And along with that is a welcome center for new Americans. This year, the citizens of West Fargo once again stepped up. We passed a $106.9 million bond referendum, which includes additions to existing elementary schools, a third middle school, a third high school, athletic field updates, and district-wide security updates. At the present time in the state of North Dakota, West Fargo has the largest 2 high schools in the state. We have the largest 2 middle schools in the state. When these third middle school and third high school opens, we'll have the 3 largest high schools in the state of North Dakota and the 3 largest middle schools. In 2018, the city of West Fargo released its most recent comprehensive plan, West Fargo 2.0. And I was glad to share that with Chad, and you're welcome to pillage that all that you'd like, Chad. You've become a good friend. The plan aims to help manage municipal service areas and influencing planning and development in the city. It can be used by elected officials and appointed board members to evaluate development applications, amend ordinances, and plan future expenditures. The 2-year Cheyenne Street Corridor reconstruction project begins this summer. This project aims to ease congestion and safety concerns in West Fargo by adding lanes to Cheyenne Street from 13th Avenue all the way to 40th Avenue, and reconstructing Cheyenne Street itself. Have you been to West Fargo lately and driven Cheyenne Street downtown? If not, I'd encourage you to take a drive and see what's happening in our community. In 2018, Cheyenne Plaza, a multi-use building, features commercial and residential units. And adjacent to that is a POW MIA Plaza, which honors our military heroes. In 2018, the POW MIA Plaza served as a hub of activity for city-sponsored events, for the West Fest, as well as Cruise Night. Something that's very near and dear to Jay's heart is Cruise Night. Our work downtown has also qualified us to become the Main Street Initiative. Governor Burgum had a summit with us. We invited community leaders, businesses, elected officials, and more importantly, we had 8 students from each of our high schools come in and offer their insight and their input and their perspective of what they thought that the city leaders and the governor should consider. That was most valuable. In 2018, the city of West Fargo also continued discussions with the Red River Valley Fairgrounds to evaluate the potential of building a convention/expo center at the fairgrounds. Construction also began on lights at Cheyenne 32, excuse me. That is an amazing new construction project that's on South Cheyenne Street that is going to be absolutely amazing and will absolutely be a destination point for everyone within our community. We also started Gateway West development, which is at the intersection of I-94 and Cheyenne, and we have our first new Hornbachers, which will open in the spring, and our first Holiday Station store. Public safety has also been critical. We now have a full-time fire department,
which is a hybrid because we also have part-time people involved with that. That change in the city of West Fargo, led by our fire chief, Dan Fuller, has saw an improvement in the Insurance Services Office Public Protection Program rating from a 4 to a 3. Now, I realize Fargo's got a better rating than that, but listen to this. That change in itself will save the citizens of West Fargo $15 million in premiums. So the investment that the city made in having a full-time fire department is obviously paying off. Chief Yonke this year initiated a cultural liaison officer. Officer Ryan Feltman is working full-time as of this month and working with West Fargo's New American population. We have also had community forums, of which there's another one tonight, with regard to special assessments in West Fargo, asking for all of the input that we can from our citizens. West Fargo has 31 beautiful parks and 9 other facilities. The Rusted Center is being doubled in size as we speak. As I've settled into this new role in West Fargo as the mayor, it has been with challenges, but with great successes, and I'm so very proud of the people I get to work with every day. But there's a point that needs to be made, that your presence here today is the reason that we are as successful as we are as communities. As city commissioners, as city staff, people that work for you every day, without your engagement, without your community thoughts, without your places of business allowing you to engage in being involved in the chamber, being involved in all of those things that make our city better. So we talk about all the great things that our city have going, and that's great. But our region has problems also with addiction, mental health issues, suicides, homelessness. So I would challenge you to continue to do the great work that you do and stay engaged within our communities, because these fine gentlemen and the other people that we serve with on the commission cannot get this done without you. Before I close, I want to make one more comment. I have also come to get to know another wonderful mayor in our region. He's become a very good friend. We meet very regularly. Corey, would you please stand up? Corey Peterson is back there. That's the mayor of the city of Horace, and he's a great guy. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Craig, thank you in the chamber for all that you do. Mark, you and the board of directors for all you do. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, West Fargo Mayor Dartis. Proud to say that you are a mayor. I'm proud to be a citizen of West Fargo. And my 20 years plus in West Fargo, the growth is unbelievable. But I'm also proud to say that I'm a member of this metro community. You know, we have a mayor from each of our cities up here in the metro. I'm glad to see that my buddy Corey is here too. Horace is just an awesome community out there. I love being part of their Bean Days. And I know that the communities like to joke around with each other, but at the end of the day, we're one metro area. We are one big city. And I'll tell you what, we've got some great leadership amongst our city. So once again, let's give all of our mayors and our leaders, our police chiefs, our fire chiefs, all the people that work to make these cities come together as one. Let's give them a round of applause. I want to remind everyone that you can email your questions for the mayors to events@fmwfchamber.com. But first, let's give the audience here a chance to weigh in on some of the issues the community has been dealing with through some live polling. Please get your phones out. We will ask you to text in your answers to each question as prompted. And if you look up at the screens, questions will be up there. Here's your first question up on the screen. We're going to start with a question we've asked the last several years at this event and see if the perception of the most important issues facing the communities has changed at all. Here is your first question. Which of these do you see as the biggest challenge impacting our community? Again, if you look up the screen, you'll see the questions up there. To participate in this poll, text the corresponding keyword on the screen to 22333. So for instance, if you want to answer arts and entertainment, text FMWF Chamber 01 to 22333. I'm glad I'm not doing this. I'm terrible at technology. Or FMWF Chamber 02 to answer flood protection, and so on and so on.
A lot of the people in the audience are faster than you and I would be at texting, so I thought this was going to take longer than this, Jay, but we're getting
me too.
good results here. And I would say the issue of workforce has been an ongoing concern and something that the chamber has a laser focus on, and proud to say that all of the mayors and the communities are going to be working with us on that issue. One of my real concerns, flood protection is going down the list, but I think it's because of the success of the task force and the people that are addressing that, seeing that we're moving ever closer to starting the diversion to go along with what the mayor's accomplished in the community. So,
you know, I on my show, when work and business comes up and the workforce, I know that it is a big concern. I have a lot of friends that are business owners, and you know, some people would say, "My God, that's a great problem to have," but at the end of the day, it's not. You know, many business owners here, you know, that it's hard on business. It's expensive to train and then try to retain employees. And hopefully, at the end of the day, this is something that can be solved. Like I said, I have friends that own businesses, and this is something that keeps them up at nighttime. How do I keep employees? You know, how do I retain them? And the other concern is I train people, then they take off and go somewhere else. And as we can see it here in this room, that this is a very big concern.
Item number 2 on there is sort of interesting. I think it's something that doesn't necessarily hit the radar screen of business leaders. Our family lives are moving smoothly. Most of the employees we have get up to work in the morning and come and do a great job for us. But to see that ranked as number 2, it talks about the importance of some of the task forces that we can put together. And it's good to know that by the time it's reached the general community's radar screen, our communities and health leaders have already been making that a focus and seeing great progress already. So I think we'll continue to see that as an issue. I'm very gratified that progress is being made there. And so Arts and Entertainment Center, the mayor made a good pitch for that. I think we'll have continued discussion about that. And housing is something that again, the idea we have a robust contractor community here, building a lot of apartments. Downtown growth is spectacular in both communities, but as more of the millennials look to move into housing, how do they make that first step into their own home? So all issues that we're going to be talking about on our various committees, this will give us a chance to prioritize as we move through 2019. So thank you for your participation on that question. The next one is something that is a question that truly is of the moment. It's being debated in Bismarck at this time, sort of a special North Dakota carryover, the blue laws. And we have that as our second question. So the same way you texted the first time, we're going to ask the question, do you support or oppose the repeal of North Dakota's current blue laws? And 07 is support, 08 is oppose, and we'll take a couple seconds to let you text in your reply to this question.
And I'll be using this on my show this afternoon, by the way, the blue laws. Seems to be a hot topic.
Say, Jay, one of the things, I keep hearing that your show's doing very well, adding new listeners. I found out why. These mayors all keep growing their communities. Have you stopped to thank them?
I should thank them. Thanks, mayors. I appreciate that. Thanks for making it number one. Blue laws, in all kidding aside, the blue laws, last couple weeks, of course, it's come back. Shannon Roars-Jones, Republican on District 46, I believe 46, she's the one that's really pushing this, and it's been pushed before. And I think this is the time where we're going to see the blue law go away. I really do. I'm not going to get into politics. That's not what this is about. But I just, for me personally, I just think that we are a state that is growing, and we want more businesses to come here, and we want to retain our youth here, and we are concerned about brick and mortar stores going away. And I just find it kind of funny that with all those concerns, we won't allow a business to make the decision of opening up before noon on a Sunday. And it's not something that would be mandatory. It's up to them if they want to open or not. But in the same breath, we can have a cocktail before 12 noon on a Sunday. That just doesn't make any sense to me.
So, Jay,
Not that I have a problem with that. I'm just saying. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
you don't have a problem with people having a drink, or you don't have a problem yourself?
I do like my J Stones every once in a while.
Yeah, so, well, great, appreciate that, and this is something that we can work with, and as Craig mentioned earlier, we'll have contingencies in Bismarck. We talk on a regular basis with our local legislators. The power of the chamber does allow us to reach out and visit and weigh in. So, well, at this point, we're going to the part of the program where we're soliciting questions from the audience.
I don't mean to interrupt you,
Okay.
and I don't want to toss this in here. I know the Ty comment you made earlier, and I don't mean to interrupt you. Birthday boy.
Oh, well, thank you.
Happy birthday. It's Mark's birthday today, so.
Well, I guess I had that coming for taking those couple of jabs at you, Jay. But yeah, I'm pleased to be here on my birthday. Nowhere I'd rather be, and what a great supportive community. So fun morning to be out. And my wife said, well, you're going to a meeting. Should I bake some cookies? Well, if you're willing to bake 700, I'd be happy to bring some in. But
By the way, that the results, what was it, 77% in favor?
Yes.
Of the blue law going away.
well, Jay, why don't you ask one of the first questions from the audience?
Okay, so we got, let's see if usually I can't figure this stuff out unless I have Kirsten Keeley here helping me out. She has to like download all the apps on my phone for me. And all right, so these are questions from the audience, of course, and again, thank you all for responding. And remember, you can still email your questions to events@fmwfchamber.com. And let's see, this is for Moorhead's new mayor, Jonathan Judd. This one's for you. It says, love your vision to make Moorhead a cultural hub as your identity. Do you have any specific plans in place for how you are going to do that?
Well, I have my own individual ideas. However, I think part of what I spoke about earlier and touched on is going out into our neighborhoods and our communities to see what vision the city and the residents would like to see. And again, I think Derek LaPointe has been really good and active about doing that. Now, I know we just met.
Wow, where's this going?
But no, honestly, I would like to see, and I would obviously would like to have the Morehead residents, City Council, Morehead Business Association, Economic Development Authority. I mean, we're all partners in this. We're all one team. I really would like to see Morehead have the Performing Arts Center. And as an advocate by nature and by training, here's my pitch. I think, honestly, if you look at, again, in my theory and my theme throughout today is going to be about our identity, our DNA, our history. And even though I'm not from Morehead, I've taken a lot of time and energy to talk to those who've been born and raised there, the residents who moved away and came back, the Cobber alumni, the Dragon alumni, you know, and it's in our DNA to have that there. And I think, and honestly, when we have our little huddle and we start talking about these things, I honestly believe that's the right place for it to go. And I think that's going to be our big start. Concordia College Christmas concerts. I mean, come on, y'all. Where else? That right there personifies Morehead. And I think, honestly, when you have something like that, along with our high school arts, the things that we have going on, I think that's going to be a big, big deal, and why we should have it there.
That's just because we have Blue Stem right now.
Oh, wow.
Well, yeah, why not?
Mark, you want to ask the next question?
Yeah, I will. In a good, insightful question from the audience, the crowd had a chance to point towards what they thought their key issues were. And I think all the mayors could point out what, and we heard in their presentations, but they had a broad list of things they wanted to accomplish. From the list we put up on the board in front of you earlier, what are the key items that your community will address? Is it the workforce? Is it flood protection? Is it the arts? And maybe we'll start with Mayor Chad down at that end.
Thank you. When you look at that list, I mean, just as we went through today, there's not one thing that we look to accomplish. I mean, we're painting the entire picture, right? We're trying to create the image to, put all the pieces together so that the picture comes into focus. And as we go down the list, whether it's workforce, behavioral health issues, addiction issues, right? We need to make sure that we're addressing these all at once. If we're not focused on the individual, we are going to lose sight of the big picture, because it's each and every family, it's each and every kid, it's each and every mom, dad, it's the people that make our communities, right? It's the people that go to our schools, it's the people that work in our businesses, run our businesses, and if we're not focused on the individual, then we will not succeed in creating that big picture. We want the Art Center because it's in our DNA. We want Bison Championships because it's in our DNA. We want continued growth and prosperity because it's in our DNA. We want a quality of life from beginning to end because it's in our DNA. And as these issues continue to arise, without question, we will work together. That's been a common theme. Working together up here, but more importantly, working together, creating bridges to our communities, right? To ensure that we answer these questions so that our citizens can live the life, that they desire to live one that's fulfilling to them, one that makes them proud to be from Dilworth, from Morehead, from Fargo, and West Fargo. And I think, again, it's not one issue, right? And it's not one person. I mean, it's lottie-dottie everybody, and we need to get behind that.
Reminds me of an old hip hop song.
Right.
Absolutely. I echo what Mayor Olson, stated. I mean, here's the deal. I remember back in 1990, when I moved up to Fargo Moorhead, Money Magazine released this feature story about the Raleigh-Durham area, talking about it was the best place to live. If you are a native North Carolinian, you hated that because change came. And so Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill, though I was, still a youth, I like to think I was somewhat smart in paying attention, but Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill were forced to kind of figure this out because there was an influx, and you had, Carolina, Go Heels, NC State, Durham, that other school, Duke. And so you know where my allegiances lie. But anyhow, these three communities were forced to kind of figure this thing out because they had an influx of growth, and every city, including Cary, who is now a burgeoning suburb, had to figure out their own identity and what they were going to be. So, Durham chose to be the city of medicine, city of tobacco. Raleigh became the arts place. Chapel Hill became education. So it really is going to look at, when you address all of these issues that we're talking about, it's going to have to look specifically about what we can do in our community to help the greater good. So I don't think you can take on all of these challenges, individually. I think it's going to have to be, what can we do to use our resources to provide value and services in our community? And last but not least, it's the kids. I mean, again, it's our families. That's when we build our cities, they build us. So it has to be a fair representation of what we want to do globally within our own region.
Great job. I echo what the other two mayors said, but when I came on the commission in 2005, we had 5,000 jobs available within this community. As I see the mayor of City of Fargo, we have 5,000 jobs in this community. And the problem we have is we have to train and get people ready for those jobs. I recently gave a lecture in a high school to seniors and asked if they all knew what they were going to do next year, and only 50% really knew what they were going to do. We have to get it to a point where young people understand where they're going to head and what they're going to do. The question I got is how to become a surgeon, and when they realized how many years that took, about half of them dropped out. But it's interesting to me, and I think that's the challenge the governor's given us as well. Let's figure out a way in which we can get people into the workforce and get them into jobs, and a lot of our local people. Bring diversity, bring other people in as well, but have this community grow in a sense that we have people in jobs enjoying their life and their lifestyle. And part of the Metro comment is just people want to live any variety of different experiences. It may be a cultural city, it may be an up-and-going city, and it can be a variety of different things. But we have to offer that to the people that come into the community. And I think the Workforce Academy also helps us do that, and it's a cooperative agreement with the schools. The other shout out I'd like to give is our public schools do a fantastic job in every one of our communities, because that's part of what's going to be the key to this success. And with their leadership, I think they can help us tackle this problem. And it's no different than what Chad said. All of us have to put our heads together to get this thing figured out. Number one priority every year we come here is workforce. Thank you.
Mayor Olson, wouldn't it have been awkward if one of the two of us were sitting in between these two guys?
That are more appropriate.
Today's polling about behavioral health and those issues does not surprise me. It surprises me prior to me becoming elected mayor. In my closing remarks today, I focused on that type of thing. And because chamber staff and media productions and Craig had the timer on us, I would have liked to spend an equal amount of time on that. Because that's no surprise to me that it finished second. I'm surprised it didn't push closer to first. Since my election, I have found that when we're out engaged in the public, we have two wonderful public servants in West Fargo, and our chief of police, Heath Yonke, and Dan Fuller, our fire department chief. And they share with us as a commission ongoing reports on a weekly basis on the calls that they're going on to. The opioid calls, the overdoses, the mental health issues, people with a gun. I would turn that over to my fellow mayors here. Mayor Olson is an educator. He sees it every day in his classrooms. Mr. Judd, Mayor Judd, works in the legal world. He sees it every day as to the effects that has on our community. Mayor Mahoney's a surgeon. You see it. About 2 weeks ago, there was 5 stabbings reported in our metro area in 1 week. Now, I've lived in this community for 42 years, and I made comment to my wife, Louise. I said, can you believe the changes that's transpiring? So again, when you see that behavioral health issue and all of the drug issues coming to the forefront, and Mayor Mahoney is probably correct because of some of the successes that we've had working on permanent flood protection, that maybe has a sense of security for some of you. But this is an issue and that absolutely has to be dealt with. We can't do it without you. Again, when I talk about West Fargo and the growth in our public school systems, we have that exponential growth of 400, 500, or 600 students a year. We've experienced all. This year, 400 was the least in 5 years that we've ever got. So we as city officials, all of us in our communities, we need to pay attention to this, because when we have those type of young peoples coming into the school systems, we've got to protect them. We've got to do everything that we can to help our first responders, our police departments, to do what we can to support them to deal with this problem. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it's a sad fact. It's not going away. Thank you.
Well, we're getting close to the allotted time. The mayors have been very generous with their time, answered the questions, gave us a real look into what's going on at city halls. One of the questions that came up, and I'm not going to have the mayors answer it, but I'm just going to comment that I spend a lot of time involved with these cities. The question is diversity, and are we integrating women into the workforce and in the cities? The department heads that we deal with are doing a spectacular job, whether they're of a different culture, a different sex. So I think our community is really getting on board and starting to recognize that we measure people on the talent and what they bring to the job. So I may have co-opted the mayors, but any disagreement with that take, and you're all right, very good. Well, I would just like to thank, that was a good, easy question. We only had a minute left, so I picked one that went pretty well, so. All right, good. Well, I would like to let you know that today's State of the Cities was recorded by Media Productions. Will be aired on the public access channels in Fargo, Moorhead, and West Fargo. And we'll let you know through the chamber the air times that those recordings will be playing. So with that, on behalf of Xcel Energy and the Chamber of Commerce, thank you for attending the 2019 State of the Cities, and a big round of applause for our mayors.